Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. I'm getting sick and tired of saying that already. Joining me is Ronaldo Brown. Ronnie, you watched the game, it's just finished. Where did it all go wrong? What went wrong today? Where do you start?
I think a better question might be what went right today, actually.
That's probably going to be a shorter answer, isn't it?
Probably a shorter answer. I could list a number of things because I don't think any time I was watching that game feeling like we were going to score. And I know it's kind of built it up before the game saying that we got to beat Arsenal. Arsenal's kind of my biggest game of the season. I hate them wholeheartedly, and I still hate them even more now. And it doesn't seem like the United players actually see it that way. You've got all the talk about the way the fans look at it, or the way we look at it, like the big rivalry between us and Arsenal, and how we kind of been joint in the past few years in terms of clubs that used to be big trying to make it back up to where they belong. But when I'm looking out there today, I don't see the kind of passion and urgency from the players that they should have in games like this. It looked almost just lethargic. It looked abject. It didn't look anything to it, and that's kind of worrying to me. If you know that you've not had a great start to the season as well, you know that you've got a lot of pressure on you. I expect a little bit more work than that. It's more work rate, more kind of passion, more, I don't know, just feeling like they want to actually win the game. Even when obviously I was talking to RH, was talking to you, I said it to everyone towards the end of the game. You've got Luke Shaw pretty much epitomising a performance at the end where he's tackled Maitland-Niles in the 93rd minute, and instead of like breaking forward and busting a gut thinking we've got a minute left, we might get something out of the game, he's standing on the ball, delaying and dilly-dallying, and that's what pretty much sums up our performance. It's heartless. That's what it was, and it's kind of upsetting to say that because United, Arsenal, you expect more than that, to be honest, in that kind of basis.
Pains me to hear you say that, but I can't disagree with you. You know, you're calling it heartless, you're questioning, or you're mentioning the fact there's a lack of urgency, a lack of desire in some of the players today. It certainly seemed that way. How much of that do you put on the manager? Do you think it's him? Do you think the players have to take some more responsibility? I
feel like I've said this on a few fan cams though, saying you can look at the manager in terms of how much of a player, like manager in terms of motivation he is, or is he one of those managers that can kind of give players a kick up the arse at half time and he come out kind of on the front foot? Like, do the players fear him enough? Are the players a little bit too relaxed, a bit too comfortable? You could say that because, you know, like, Ollie's got that happy-go-lucky attitude and he looks like he can be your best mate. It works positively in a sense with your players in terms of your players feel more comfortable, they might like you, they might want to play for you more. And it also could be a negative where the players kind of take the piss, where they feel like, oh, I can do what I feel like because I'm not really going to get a rollicking from the manager. He's not going to really get onto me that much. And that has been a pattern, though, since for the whole of Ollie's tenure, when we have games where we start slow, which is also worrying. But then when we come out of half-time after a shit performance or a shit first half, we don't build on it, or we might do for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or we just generally don't kick on at all. And that's me thinking, did the manager get onto him enough at half-time? As he sent him out there basically with like a fire up your ass, thinking, all right, I need to go out and be better. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I'm kind of lost for words in it. I don't really take losses too well anyway when it comes to United, but especially when we lose to Arsenal, it's a difficult one. It's a tough pill to swallow. I'm
actually amazed that you're not more angry than you are, because I know what you're like when we lose. You're talking about the manager, and I mentioned it to you. It was a fair point about, you know, has he got to give him a kick up the arse or whatever. But you're looking at that team. I'm looking at players like Scott McTominay. I'm looking at players like Paul Pogba, like Fred, the whole team, Maguire, you know, Marcus, whoever. These players surely must step out on that pitch and have that pride that we've lost 2 home league games already this season. We need to beat this team that, you know, historically or more recently, the last 20 years, whatever, have been our rivals. Surely the players should have that passion without the manager needing to remind them of it.
Yeah, surely. It comes down to character, because it's funny that you say that, because then players might have that kind of view in them, which you should have as United players, that if we're losing at a club like this, we need to do something about it. But what I quite often see when I watch is players do the opposite. Like, they kind of have that attitude, but they just deal with it the wrong way, I mean to say. So instead of feeling like, all right, I need to react and kind of step it up a gear or two, or I need to try and make something happen or take the game by the scruff of the neck, what they do instead is they kind of sulk and mope, and then their body language is shit, and then it's almost like they give up, like feeling sorry for themselves. I saw quite a bit of that when I was watching the game as well. So that all comes down to attitude and character, because they might care about the fact that they're losing, but it's about how you kind of react to it when you're doing it. It's all good feeling like, oh, I'm upset, and I'm gonna kind of mope around and sulk and look stressed instead of actually doing the opposite of thinking, oh shit, all right then, what can I do about the fact that we're losing? That's basically what I was saying, because I was saying it in the start. There's a lot of instances in the second half where I saw players hiding, not wanting to get on the ball, almost looking like they didn't believe they could score themselves. It's worrying, man, and it's not a pattern that you want to see continuing, because these are stuff called habits, and when habits creep in, they can be difficult to get rid of. So,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. It was a pretty abject performance throughout the team. One player that's always going to get highlighted, especially after today when he gave away a penalty, was Pogba. How much blame do you rest on his feet for the result? Are we being a bit
Pogba wasn't good today.
Over the top when we say he's got to take more responsibility?
He weren't good today. You know what was quite frustrating today about Pogba more than anything else, was the fact that we had a formation in terms of, you've got Fred and McTominay in that, which are slightly more defensive options. So I thought he had more license to go forward and get in the final third and be the creative player that we know he is and show his ability, and he didn't take that opportunity, which is quite annoying to me. So you can't really harp on any excuses for him, because the way that we set up was to kind of release him, because we saw all of his best games in his career when he was at Juve or at France. Or I think when he was at Juve, he played in a diamond. He was on the left side of a midfielder of a diamond, and that's where some of his best ever football has been. And that's where he played today, and he weren't up to the races at all. And then he goes and gives that penalty away as well. It was just disaster after disaster, really, when it came down to him. And you got to start looking at him now and think, might just be Pogba now? Or is he one of those players that when it's not going amazing around him, and he's not got the amazing players of France, or he's not got the amazing players of Juve surrounding him to kind of take the pressure off him, he kind of buckles under it. I think that might be the issue, because he's seen as a star man. He's the one or two world-class players on the squad that he's kind of looked to, and people look up to him. People look to him to kind of make things happen for us. I don't know if he might not have the character or the attitude to kind of deal with that and show it on a week-to-week basis, because his consistency is not where it needs to be. And you got to say time waits for no man in it. So might be running out of patience when it comes to him.
Just quickly, still believe in the manager?
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. I still believe in the manager, because I don't know. I actually don't know, if I'm honest with you, because I try not to be negative. I'm not trying to get onto that kind of thing where they're saying Ollie out and Ollie in and all that bullshit. I'm just asked about United and their performances, or whether they win or not. And obviously the things surrounding it are kind of second to it. But if things continue the way they are and we're not winning at home, and it looks like the players have more than anything are giving up on him, changes might have to be made. I don't know. I feel like you're saying, do I believe in a manager? Maybe, but I just feel like the club's in need of a massive shake-up, and a managerial change could be one of them. So I don't know.
Clubs in need of a massive shake-up, and a managerial change could be one of them. We'll have to wait and see. There's no doubt that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, after losing 3 of his first 4 Premier League home games this season, is under massive amounts of pressure. Ronaldo, thanks for chatting to us. I've been Jay. This has been a Stretford Paddock Fancam.
Yeah.
After the Manchester
I'm
United
lost for words
defeat to
myself.
Arsenal,
Won't blame you.
I'm almost lost for words.
Let me go now.
Losing a bit of enthusiasm like the Manchester United players. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.